Hi guys, in this lesson we are going to discuss about order of operation and evaluating expression. The objective of this lesson to simplify expressions involving exponents and to use the order of operation to evaluate expression. Let's see what we have here in this lesson. So our new vocabulary: power, exponent, base, simplify, and evaluate. So first thing first, let's see what's the meaning of power. So power, it has two parts, a base and an exponent. So a power, that's what we call it, a power. So 2 to the power 3, so that's what we call it, power. Now, what is the meaning of 2 to the power 3? Which means you will multiply 2 by itself according to the number that we have here. So 2 to the power 3, which means you will multiply 2 by itself 3 times. Right, we can write it in another way by using this way, 2 to the power 3, and that's how we read it. 2 to the power 3. Now, we call the one that we have down, we call it a base. So base is a factor. So 2 is a base. Now 3, which is the number that on the top, that's an exponent. So 3, this is an exponent, which is the number of time that you repeat the base. So exponents tell you how many times to use the base, or you multiply the base by itself. Now, all this we call it power. Finally, you simplify a numerical expression once you replace it with its single numerical value. So let's see what we have next. Now, 10 to the power 7. You will multiply 10 by itself 10 times. Times 10 times 10, you will repeat it 7 times. So 7 times, which means you will have 7 zeros. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 10 to the power 7. Also, keep in mind, if you are using calculator, you are going to put in your calculator, in most regular calculator, you will put, there is X bottom on the top small square. Once you press this button, you will get something look like this. So then you will put 10 inside, then you will use your arrows to move the indicating sign here to put 7. Then just put equals to, then you will get the answer. Now, for this one, same thing, you will multiply 0.2 by itself 5 times, 0.25 times, and then you will get the answer 0.00032. So that's what you should get. So simplifying power is very easy. You just need to repeat the base according to the given exponent. Now let's do more exercises. So here we have here in these exercises, the first one is 3 to the power 4. So 3 to the power 4, you will again just multiply it by itself many times. So 3 to the power 4, you will get 81. If you don't have calculator, you can just say 3 times 3 it's times 3 times 3, so that is 9, and that's 9, so overall is 81. Now, if you have 2 over 3 like this, you can distribute the power to say 2 to the power 3 over 3 to the power 3. So the first one, 2 times 2, it's 4, 4 times 2, it's 8, so in the denominator will be 8, in the denominator will be 3 to the power, 3 times 3, 9, 9 times 3, it's 27, so that is 27. The last one, 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5 will give you 0.125. So the basic idea is really easy. Keep in mind here you can distribute the power for the numerator and the denominator if you have division or multiplication. If you don't have division or multiplication, I will give you more details in the coming lessons. Now, here we have the order of operation. So the order of operation, if you have any numerical expression like this, then you need to follow the order of operation. The order of operation, I will give it to you in the next slide. But before that, let's see this example. 2 plus 3 times 5. Can you add 2 plus 3 first to say 5 times 5, which is 25? Or you say 2 plus 3 times 5, which is 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 2, which is 17. This one is correct because that is follow the order of operation. The order of operation tells you you have to do what you have in the parentheses first, then you will simplify if you have powers, then multiplication and division, finally addition and subtraction. So here the mistake is doing the addition before the multiplication. You must do the multiplication first because multiplication is coming first, then addition or subtraction. So follow your expression from left hand to right hand and use the order of operation. Let's start working on this one. So first thing first, we must do what we have inside the parentheses. So 6 minus 2 is a 4 to the power 3 divided by 2. So we have to do first the powers, then the division. If you remember the key concept that we had here, the powers, then the division and multiplication. Division and multiplication, it's in the same level. So let's continue here. So 4 to the power 3, 4 to the power 3, 4 times 4 is 16, then 16 times 4 is 64. So that is 64. 64 divided by 2. Then once you divide this one by 2, you will get 32. Now, we have here, we will gonna do what we have in the denominator first, and then we will see if we can simplify it. So 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 4 will give you 16. So that is 16 minus 1 over 5. So 16 minus 1 is 15 over 5. So 15 over 5 is a 3. That's how you simplify it. You might ask or concern about this step. Miss, why did you simplify the denominator first, then the denominator, then the division? Because this expression, it's exactly the same if I write it like this. So there is parenthesis for the denominator. So you must work on it first. Once you work on it inside first, you need to simplify what you have inside it. So you will deal with 2 to the power 4 minus 1, it's like a specific numerical expression. So you will do that as 16 minus 1, which is 15, and then like that you finished, you remove the parentheses, which is here will be 15 divided by 5, which is again 3. So make sure that you practice this kind of a question. You will find them easy and clear. Let's make more exercises. So here in A, we have 5 times 7. So 5 times 7 minus 4 to the power 2 divided by 2. So let's follow what we have. So we said parentheses first, but we don't have parentheses. Then we said, this is multiplication by the way. If you have big dot like this in the middle, 5 that is in the middle, big dot like this, that's a product, that's a multiplication. While if you have the dot here, a small dot and down, that is a decimal. So make sure that you distinguish the difference between them. So let's follow then the powers. So we said the brackets or parentheses, then the powers. So let's do the powers first. So 5 times 7 minus 4 to the power 2, which is 16 divided by 2. Now in the next step we said multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. So multiplication and division, I will do the multiplication and division for these. So 5 times 7, it's 35, minus 16 divided by 2, it's 8. So that will give you 35 minus 8, 35 minus 8 will give you 27. So next we have 12, that's B. So 12 minus 25 divided by 5. So first thing first, do I have parentheses? No. Next, do I have powers? No. Do I have addition and do I have multiplication, division? Yes, I have these. So I will do them first. 12 minus 25 divided by 5, which is 5. Then finally 12 minus 5, which is equals to 7, which is easy. The last one, C. 4 plus 3 to the power 4 over 7 minus 2. So I will do the denominator as I did before a few minutes and the denominator alone. So 4 plus 3. First I have to do the power. 4 plus 3 to the power 4, 81. In the denominator 7 minus 2, it's a 5. So 4 plus 81, which is equals to 85 over 5. So 85 over 5 will give you 17. Now, how does a fraction bar act as a grouping symbol? Grouping symbol, they mean the parentheses. So how does a fraction bar act, that's what they mean by fraction bar, this fraction bar, as a grouping symbol. Like, let me tell you here, what the grouping symbol, how they act, they will act the same thing with division. So I can say 4 plus 3 to the power 4 divided by 7 minus 2. That's how does fraction bar acts. So let me just write for you the answer. A fraction bar acts as a grouping symbol. They act the same since you simplify the numerical, the denominator and the denominator before you divide as I did. So just type the answer or write the answer, that fraction bar and they act the same. Or let me write for you the answer, because some of you, they like to see the answer not depending on oral answer. So a fraction bar acts as a grouping symbol. So why the reason? The reason is, let me continue the reason. Since you simplify the numerator and the denominator before you divide. I will write n for denominator, and denominator before you divide. So that's the answer for D, which is the last question in this part. Let's move to the next part. I can give you more exercises that to make sure that the idea clear for you. So I'm going to solve exercise 28. So that's exercise 28. So let me copy the question for you. Exercise 28. In the book, page 13, the exercise said 3 that's related to exercise to problem 3. So we have exercise 22, page 13. So exercise 22 said 52 plus 8 to the power 2 minus 3 times 4 minus 2, all this to the power 3. Now, first thing first, do I have parentheses? Yes, and powers, but we said parentheses first. So let's do what we have, the parentheses first. So 8 to the power 2 minus 3. We will do the 4 minus 2. It's 2 to the power 3, right? Then we have to do the powers. So 52 plus 16 minus 3 times 8. So multiplication, fractions like this stuck with a number, then it's a multiplication. So next we have to do the multiplication. 16 minus 3 times 8 is 24. Finally, step by step, do your calculation. Then step by step, do your calculation to get 92. To get 92. But keep in mind here, 8 to the power 2, sorry, it is not 16, it is 64. So that is 64. So that is 64. Right? Let's move on. Now in this problem, we need to evaluate algebraic expression. All the idea is just taking the values for each variable, then exchange them in your expression. So x equals 5, y equals 2. Just take this 5, replace it here by this x, replace this x by 5. So 5 to the power 2 plus 5 minus, from where this 5? Here, from the question, minus 12 divided by y, it said 2 to the power 2. Now let's do the powers first. We don't have parentheses, so then we go to the next level, which is doing the powers. So 25 plus 5 minus 12 divided by 4. Now, next level, we finished the powers, then we will move to multiplication and division. We have multiplication and division only here. So 25 plus 5 minus 12 divided by 4, it's a 3. In the next level, we just need to calculate. So addition and subtraction in the same level. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 plus 25, which is 27. Now again, exactly same idea, xy, which means multiplication between them. So 5 times 2, all this to power 2 divided by, again, 5 times 2. Now let's do our calculation here. So the calculation here, it's 10 to the power 2. Why I'm saying that? Because the parenthesis is first, divided by 10. So that is equals to 100 divided by 10, which is, you can simplify 1 0 with 1 0, which is equals to 10. There is also one more way, I will give it to you. 10 to the power 2 over 10, since they have the same base and you have division, you will subtract the powers. I will give you more details about this in the coming lessons. We have a chapter just discussing or talking about powers, so I will give it to you in another lesson. That's another concept. But I just would like to tell you that there is another way. Now let's make more exercises. So here we have A equal 3, B equal 4. They want me evaluate the expression. So 3b, which means it's a multiplication. So 3 times 4 minus A, which is equals to 3. So it is a 3 to the power 2. Now, let's do the powers first. 3 times 4 minus 9. Next, multiplication. So 12 minus 9. Next, subtraction and addition, which is equals to 3. Same thing with this one. 2 times B, what is B? 4 to the power 2 minus 7 times 3. So 2 powers first times 16 minus 7 times 3. Now 2 times 16, it's 32, minus 7 times 3, which is 21. So that is equals to 11. So this for this part. Let's see if we have here evaluating real world expression. So if we have real world expression here, what is an expression for this? For the spending money you may have left after depositing 2/5 of your wages in saving. Evaluate the expression for weekly wages of 40, 50, and 75 and 100. So first thing first, let's write the expression. So step 1, I'm going to write the expression that related to spending money. So spending money, if you have left after depositing, 2/5 of your wages. So let's represent your wages by using W. Then I would like to tell you, I have left after wages, after spending this amount of money, 2/5 of my wages, then I have to say, I have to multiply 2/5 W. So this is my wages without using anything from it, which is the basic thing. I did not use it. So after using my wages, weekly wages, which is, I will say 2, after using this part, 2/5 W from the wages. So that's the expression. For this part, I can tell you of usually represent multiplication. So the word of usually in word problems represent multiplication. So we finished from step 1, which means writing the expression. So we done from the expression. Now let's evaluate it if we have the weekly wages, these. So once we have W equals 40, we get what? Let's evaluate. So 40 minus 2/5 times 40. If you don't have calculator, or if you are not using calculator, 5 and 40, you can simplify them. So once you simplify them, I think you have these basics. 5 and 40, which is 8. 8 times 2, which is 16. 40 minus 16, which is 24. So that is 24. So once you have 50, once the weekly wages is 50, which is equals to 50 minus 2/5 times 50, which is equals to, once you do your calculation, which is equals to 30. Once you have 75, you will say it's 75 minus 2/5 times 75. Once you do your calculation, you will get 45. Finally, if you have 100, then you will say 100 minus 2/5 times 100, which is equals to 60. That's for this part. It is really easy, but you will evaluate in expression is not given. So again, if you want to represent what is an expression for the spending money you have left after depositing 2/5 of your wages. So depositing, remember, you need to use it minus. So you are taking from your wages. So this is your basic wages, which is W. That's what I represented. Then I minus from it what I'm using every week. So I'm using every week 2/5 of my wages. So I'm depositing 2/5 of my wages. That's why I wrote it like this. Then I easily evaluate weekly wages in the expression that I have every time and just calculate. Now let's do this one. Now the shopping cost for an order at an online store is 1/10 the cost of the items. Right? So you order. So what is the expression for the total cost of a given order? Now then you need what are the total cost if you order these values. Now you order something from an online store. So first thing first, the basic price, let's call C the cost. Right? Now, C is the cost. They usually ask you to pay extra money or extra thing. Why? For your order, which is for the shipping, which is to take you because they want to take these items to you home. So what should you do? So this is the basic to the total to find the total cost. So the total cost, you will pay C, right? You will pay for the items that you purchase. Then you will add to your cost the shipping, right? The shipping is given 1/10 of the cost. So the shipping is 1/10, 1/10 of the cost. It is like this one. You can maybe see it in another way, 0.1. So that is 0.1 of the cost. So it's like 10% of the 10% of the item of the cost of the items that you purchase. So that's the expression. Now we will evaluate it by using exactly the same way that we did. So once the price is 43, then you will say 43 plus 1/10 times 43. You will do your calculation to get 47.3. So once you have 79, then once you evaluate here, once you replace these prices here, so then you will say 79 plus 1/10 times 79, which is equals to 86.9. Then also once we have 95, you will evaluate it in 95 plus 1/10 times 95, which is equals to 104.5. Also, once you have finally 103, so that is 103 plus 1/10, 103, which will give you 113.3. So that's after you do your calculation. So that's for this lesson. The lesson is really simple, really easy. You just need to practice them. Just make sure that you practice them. If you have any question, most welcome to ask.